So, Guy, like, what is it that you do at the moment?
Well, right now I'm enjoying not being inside the convention in this lovely Adelaide weather now. No, in general, my title is the content manager. So I'm the content manager for ReedPOP, and we look after PAX Australia and Oz Comic-Con here in Australia. Primarily, I'm more focused on the PAX side of things, my background in the video game industry and whatnot. I like to say the content side of things it consists of everything except for the exhibitors on the expo floor. So content in terms of panels, features, community spaces, tournament areas, overseeing a lot of the volunteers a lot of the time as well, especially in PAX, and things like that. So very much being the glue around the other fields that do stuff in the convention side of things.
I remember late 2012 when I got told by some American friends of mine that, oh my God, there was a PAX happening in Australia, and I was freaking out. I was like, this is bullshit, right? This can't be happening. But like, so how did that come about? How did we finally get a PAX, and how did the first international PAX come to Australia? Yeah,
I know, isn't that awesome though? Because everyone was like, oh, well, there'll be a PAX in Europe. I mean, we'll go to London or something like that. What you'd think. It was this great little kind of like when you know I found out we were going to do it in Australia. It was like a real. Yeah. Fuck you. Oh, are we allowed to swear on this?
Oh, sure.
Oh, you can bleep me out.
First episode, let's do this.
Okay. But it was a lot of fun to find that out. There were a lot of factors behind it. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously, ReedPOP, we work with Penny Arcade over in the States, and we're always looking for, like, you know, somewhere to actually go outside of North America. To be honest, the Australian gaming community, is very strong down here, and there was a lot of vocal support to actually bring a PAX down here. Also, in terms of like Penny Arcade, their readership, their merch sales and things like that, Australia, I think it was like the 3rd highest region. Okay. You know, and in terms of per capita, that's insane.
Yeah.
You know, so there was a lot of demand for it. But even with PAX, you now see that with like following conventions sort of thing that come down here, big ones from the US like GX Australia or RTX or whatnot. So it's not an isolated incident just with the Penny Arcade community. It's definitely the culture that we have here around gamers and you know, people that are actually fans of all this stuff. So
do you feel like conventions just sort of like exploded or at least could you say that conventions sort of exploded in like the last few years or so?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to quantify this. I've only really been directly involved in conventions since you know, the first PAX in 2013, and prior to that, you know, you might feel this is similar being in Adelaide, but I was based in Brisbane, in Queensland. And up there, you know, any conventions that we got, it was a special occurrence. Anytime we got any attention whatsoever.
Yeah, that's right.
Anytime we got something, you know, instead of Sydney or Melbourne, frankly, was like a big deal, you know.
Same for us.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it was always Supernova was the big one, you know. And we had a Gen Con at one point as well for a couple of years. But I think there's always been, ever since like the early 2000s, you know, this pop culture kind of convention scene that's been bubbling up and rising up. I think in the last 4 to 5 years, definitely there's been more events around specific niche elements of pop culture, whether that be gaming, whether that be around specific communities like RTX or whatnot, whether that be around even niche elements like CanCon, that's a tabletop convention in Canberra. You know, and even you've got these intimate events that are around just singular celebrities or whatnot. Yeah, there's definitely more events popping up now, but if you look at it just within the relativity of a specific city, so here in Adelaide, I would say you've got AvCon, Supernova, Oz Comic-Con.
But then up until I feel like a few years ago, we didn't have those except for AvCon. Like Supernova, like again, you mentioned Supernova coming to Brisbane. Like I remember, like 5-6 years ago, thinking, oh man, like Supernova seems pretty cool, but when the hell are we going to get in Adelaide? And then all of a sudden, I just looked at a newspaper and there it was coming to Adelaide. So
very good, yeah, it has. I don't know what the best model is though, in terms of should there be. Like we do both. We've got an Oz Comic-Con in most of the capital cities around Australia. So every year there's an Oz Comic-Con in Adelaide. The flip side to that is PAX. There's only one PAX, and that PAX is in Melbourne at the moment, and it's every year, once a year. So people make a pilgrimage, trek to that. It's the Woodstock of gaming every year.
So the community just
exactly. So you know, which is better? Is it better for the conventions to actually go to each city? Or is it better for just to have the one? I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. They both have their pros and cons.
What's the logistics behind that in terms of like PAX being in Melbourne? Like, do you see it like say in 5 years' time being big enough to say have another one say on the other side of the country in Perth?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we look at the model that was started over in North America. You know, the first PAX over there was in 2004 in Seattle. And the second one, I think, started in 2010 in Boston. And a big reason for that was because the one in Seattle sold out. Like, tickets sold out. You can't buy tickets at the door. It's ridiculous. I think these days they sell out in like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
The demand was there. And the convention got to the point where it was outgrowing the actual convention center in Seattle. And now it takes up like 6 city blocks.
Yeah.
And uses up every hotel room and space around the general area. So for them, it was like, well, this is logical. We should, create a second PAX on the other side of the country.
Yep.
So I guess in answer to your question, it's not completely out of the realms of possibility, but in the same respect, we don't exactly have the same population as North America
absolutely not.
to
That's
justify
right.
that.
That's
But
right.
you know what? If we ever completely max out the Melbourne Exhibition and Convention Centre to capacity and sell out all our tickets in ridiculous amounts, and we have such a vocal community saying it's not fair, that we don't get the chance to actually go to this as well, then we'd explore it. But I don't know, that'd be quite down the track, I think.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'd be a hell of a lot of work as well.
I'm not. Yeah, let's avoid that. Actually, let's just do the one. The one's good.